Hello everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a review of the Prisoner 2021. So this wine is really iconic, and right now in BC liquor stores, I believe the price is $69.99. A lot of times I'll see that Prisoner wines will have some discount, so check out for that. But this month they've got this beautiful box. It's made by Justin Broadbent, which is a Canadian artist, and hopefully they'll do this more and more. But it's a beautiful box, and it's quite a nice addition at no additional cost. It's got a little bit of a, I'll show a close-up of it, but it's got a little bit of a magnet here, and it's a hardcover box, so I like that very much about this box. And what I've been told by friends, a lot of them like to use it to store things, like if you've got paintbrushes or cutlery. Prisoner can be a bit of a controversial wine, but and it's not, I'll let you know off the top, it's not my type of wine. As viewers and subscribers know, I'm not a big, bold red wine person. I like more little mellow wines. That's why I like kind of the right bank Bordeaux. But again, I can appreciate good wine and the quality there. So the Prisoner, let's talk about it a little bit. So it was started in 2000 by winemaker Dave Phinne, and he's the guy that also produced the Orange Swift wines. The Prisoner has really caught people's attention because of the label, and also that it's a very consumer-friendly wine, or sold in 2010 to Huneeus Vintner, and then subsequently sold in 2016 to Constellation Brands. I really like the story about this wine. So the label is inspired by an etching produced by the Spanish artist Francisco Goya, and it is titled Petit Prisonnier. Dave Phinne started this whole idea to give more publicity to the injustices in prison. So what he talked about, so this sketch was part of Goya's series called Disasters of War, which was initially created as a visual protest to the injustice and brutality of the Spanish War of Independence in 1808. And so the whole idea when they made this brand was they stood against oppression, and they embraced creativity. So they wanted to fight injustices in this society, especially those tied to the prison and the policing system. They believed that they could start that dialogue of change through their wine, through creativity. So I really like this idea that they're trying to actually, in a subtle way, bring the injustices of the prison system, of a custody, to play. So that gives me a little bit more context, and really gives me some thought into why I would really want to support this wine and drink it more often. This wine, I think, is controversial because it's a consumer-friendly wine. And by that I mean, wine aficionados or snobs won't like this wine because they won't have the blends, they won't know where it comes. It's not a single vineyard. It actually comes from about 100 growers, and it's a blend. And I don't think they even tell you what the blend percentages are. So people who are kind of wine aficionados get bothered by this. But consumers don't, because consumers just say, hey, is it a good drinking wine? Who cares what it's made with? And that's really the approach I think the winery took. Basically, this is for consumers. Even though it's a fairly high-end wine, it's a great wine, it's really for drinkers. And that's what I find, that a lot of drinkers or consumers really enjoy this wine because it tastes really good. And so sometimes, those guys, people that are more into wines will kind of poo-pah this wine. And I think it's got the same kind of effect like Camus, which I find is a very, very good wine, a good story. A lot of people dislike the wine, and same thing, a lot of people dislike the Prisoner. And I admit I was one of these people because I thought it was kind of a too consumer-friendly wine. But now that I've drank it for a couple of times, and now I've understood the story, I'm really appreciating their whole philosophy and understanding it a lot better. So anyways, this is a blend, primarily Zinfandel with some Cabernet Sauvignon, Petite Sirah, Syrah, and a grape type called Charbono. So Charbono is actually a weird grape type. I think it was grown in France and then some in Argentina, but some US producers still want to use this. I think it might be, I'm not sure about this, but it might be indigenous to the US initially, and so it was grown quite a bit in the US, back in the 60s or whatever. And so what this Charbono is basically a blending grape, and what it does, it skews the flavors towards blue and brambly fruits, plums and spices. Doesn't have a lot of tannin, so it just adds to the kind of intensity of flavor, which you can see in this wine. Hey everyone, so this is the bottle and the box. Unfortunately, I actually drank up all the wine, so I don't have the picture of the wine, but here's the beautiful Goya sketch etching of the prisoner. And then this is the back of the label. And then this is the beautiful box. So I love the box in terms of, it's really nice, done by a Canadian artist, Justin Broadbent. And you can see it opens up. And it's a really nice thing. It's got a couple of magnets here. So it does close up, and it is a hardcover box. So I really do enjoy it. So let's taste this wine. I can let you know that I had it last night with some friends. Everyone out of the bottle loved it. So because it's so aromatic, it's right in your face, lots of dark fruit, lots of intensity, good weight. So I can see how it's a very consumer-friendly wine because it doesn't take a lot for people to like. It's very crowd-pleasing, very consumer-friendly, which is what I think they wanted to create. They wanted to create a wine that was so user-friendly, and I think they've done an excellent job, and that's why the success of this wine is so high. So on the smell, I can tell you now, it's a day later, it's calmed down. When I first smelled this wine, it was a lot of dark fruit. Oh my goodness, it was just bursting with dark fruit. You had a little bit of oak on there, and you could smell the alcohol content too. So the alcohol content on this is 15.5. Now it's calmed down, but you can smell a lot of that dark fruit. Probably that influence of Charbono is there. Blueberries, black plums, cassis. You smell a little bit of vanilla and oak influence, and maybe a little spice actually. Maybe a little bit of, I can't really pick up the spice, but it's kind of a mild spice. I want to say like almost like an Indian spice, but yeah, there's a little bit of spice note on the end of this. On the taste, really, really sweet, dark fruit. Almost over-extracted, which people probably don't enjoy sometimes, but lots of intensity of fruit. You don't really taste, you can taste the alcohol at the end also on the aftertaste of this one. It's got quite a nice finish, but the sweetness of the fruit is very high. And just in comparing this to the Harlan, the Maiden, and although it's a different blend, but with the Harlan, you do see the tannins are a little bit more, have a bit more quality in them, I think, and the aftertaste is a little bit more mild and more balanced. This wine is not a bad wine at all. It's got that same intensity of fruit, but I think it's got a little bit lacking on the aftertaste. So for me, it's a little bit over the top in terms of, for my taste palette, it's a little bit too fruity at the front, and the aftertaste is probably a little bit not as smooth as I'd like. But a lot of people enjoy this wine, so I can see how this would be a very crowd-pleasing wine. It's a good wine. I think Wine Spectator has it 91 points. I have the same. It's 91 points for sure in my books. It's a great wine, very, very consumer friendly. And one thing I'll say about The Prisoner is that if you serve it, this is a $70 wine, I think you will probably 8 times out of 10, people will like it. So it has a very high percentage that people enjoy it because it's really easy to understand. It's very accessible in its youth. You just pop it open and all those fruits come bursting through. So that's something that I really enjoy about the wine. Hope you've enjoyed this tasting. Until next time, happy drinking.